Another thing I want to get going is puttying up these seams. Let's do that. I don't have the painting masks available offhand at the moment, so let's do a little puttying. This is the first one I tried and it came out pretty good. Let me put a little more light on the situation here. And we'll put these doors to the side as well. I'm just using regular 3M Bondo glazing and spot putty, which is working out phenomenally well. Let's actually use one of these squeegees to put it on. And in this case, I'm just using a regular miniature screwdriver to put the putty in place, which has worked out really well. The last screwdriver I was using, I don't seem able to see around at the moment, but it must be somewhere nearby, was the full width of this area. This is just a little smaller, maybe not quite half the space. I want to experiment and see what's best, so let's take a look at both. This stuff dries pretty quickly, so you don't want to leave it laying around too long. And in this case, I'm using some magnifying glasses so I can see what's really going on here. And at this point, as you can see, it's just a matter of some really fine work. Great thing about using this screwdriver is that apart from being really small, it also has very sharp edges, so it cleans itself up pretty well. This may look messy, but all the putty is pretty much going where it belongs. And it's really nice to work with. This is already starting to dry up, so I don't want to linger too long on this. Part of the idea here is to work fast. Okay, there's one done. Or there's one redone. I do need the larger screwdriver, so I'm going to go around and look for that. It off as well as I should have. Let's see what I can do with this one. This is a good reminder to always clean your tools. This putty can be a little wetter, but let's see what we can do with it. Mostly I just want to blob a lot in the area. So in this case, one side is definitely higher than the other side. This is really nice. Let's move on to the next one. Basically all of these wall pieces have to be done. Second pass on this one, first pass on this. Here comes the first pass on all of these. So as I was just saying, one side is definitely lower than the other. So what I'm doing here is filling that side in, and then I'll scrape it down, and we should have one relatively even piece. At least for this scale, it should work. The seams on these wall pieces have been the bane of my life. ever since I started, and a lot of my delay has been because of these, not knowing how to treat them, or at least not having any particular thoughts until I came across this Bondo Spot Putty Glaze magic. Now, this screwdriver really is the best possible tool for this job. It's the exact perfect width, the exact perfect shape. And so, having done all these parts here, I'm going to let these cure overnight. I'll primer them really lightly in the morning. We'll take a look at how they're doing. I imagine they'll need a second pass, just as this one here did. So here's all the ones with a first pass. Here is the second pass. We'll see if it needs a third, but probably not. One thing I would absolutely recommend is doing all your cleanup at this stage of the game. Make sure you haven't got anything along the sides here. Just make sure that your edges are nice and crisp, even if that means doing a second pass, because you really want this to look good, because as they were, they definitely weren't good. And here we are with the second pass on the Bondo. It's pretty smooth. It may look a little questionable from the camera, however, I'll shoot that with a little clean primer and we'll take a look. Over here on the freezer wall parts, I got two colors done. So I painted the green up top, and then while I was at it, I did the bottom 1706, which means I just have to mask the bottom and the top off and do the 1704, and these are finally done again. Then over on the computer station there, I just filled the edges with a little bit of green. I gotta go over that with some masking tape, and that will hopefully be done again. So let's see what's going on. And with a fresh coat of primer, I think you'll be happy that you do this too. This came out really nice and smooth. It'll look so much better. We'll let those sit overnight.